Hey everyone, my name is Cryptic Athena, and this is Devil Fruit Fridays. Took a break last week, but now we're back into the swing of things. The fruit before this, I believe, was the Godzilla fruit, but today's fruit is gonna be a much weaker fruit. I'll admit that, but it's still a pretty cool fruit, so let's get into it. The Hanabi no Mi, or the Firework fruit. It is a paramecia type, and the powers are allowing the user to turn their body into fireworks. Essentially, a firework-based Bakugo from My Hero. So, that's essentially what it is. Once a user has eaten the Hanabi no Mi, they get the ability to fire off projectiles from their body, or even transform whole limbs into fireworks. This allows for powerful explosions in their attacks or just for a fun party trick. This user also has resistances to explosive attacks. So, a couple of the techniques that you will be able to use with this fruit. Firecracker Fingers. The user can fire firecrackers or other small fireworks from the fingers as projectiles. Sort of like homing missiles or just small explosives to throw somebody off. Firework Limbs. The user can transform their body or limbs into fireworks, allowing for flight or explosive attacks. They can launch these limbs from their body as well, but depending on the size and power, the attacks may have varied ranges, and they may also have varied effects on the body. Now this one's actually kind of interesting. Cannonball Limbs. Similarly to firework limbs, the user can also transform parts of their bodies into cannonballs, but they require much more energy to use. These two can be launched, but will require even more energy to do so. So I got this idea from, actually, Kung Fu Panda 2. If you've ever seen that, the whole premise is the evil guy is using firework-based cannonballs to destroy China. And I thought that was super interesting, and that's essentially where this whole idea came from. So, cannonball limbs, I'd imagine the effect would look similar to how the cannonballs looked in Kung Fu Panda 2. That's what I'm sort of imagining, and I think that'd be very cool, a very cool visual in the world of One Piece. This next technique, Gunpowder Bomber, a strong attack that allows the user to transform completely into a powerful rocket. Once this ability is used, the user may be weakened after use. This of course revolves around how much training the user of the Hanabi no Mi will have, but this Gunpowder Bomber is essentially like pre-time skip Gear 3. That's essentially what this is. And then of course we have one more technique, Margin Missile, an even greater attack than the Gunpowder Bomber that risks killing allies and enemies alike, or just harming both of them. The Margin Missile transforms the user into a giant firework that sends out other explosions from the initial explosion, based on the largest firework ever made. And I believe, if I look this up real quick, largest firework ever made, firework made, the biggest firework is, the name Margin Missile comes from the name of the giant firework. It comes from something about the thing. I believe. No. Where did I get margin from? Wait a second. I thought it was. Okay, here we go. In 2018, the biggest firework was recorded, and it was made by Al Margin Island, UAE. I'm not sure what that means, but they created the largest aerial firework shell in 2018, and they set it off in 2018, and it's the biggest firework ever recorded. So I figured that'd be a very fitting final attack for just the base Firework fruit. So yeah, margin missile, you explode yourself, and then you set off other explosions. And I think that'd be very interesting. Finally, the Devil Fruit Awakening allows the user to manipulate any source of gunpowder that they can find. This may allow them to remotely control cannons or guns, or just straight up blow up gunpowder barrels. This awakening is very strong in the One Piece world. However, the overall fruit is a little eh. But the Gunpowder Awakening, I don't know, I don't really have a fancy name for this one. But the ability to control gunpowder from any source is going to be a very powerful fruit. I'd imagine whoever had this fruit, if they awakened, they could probably do like a Magneto from the first X-Men movie. They can probably pull a similar scene where Magneto is outside of I think he's outside of his containment or something, and he's surrounded by a bunch of cops. They all have their guns pointed at him, but he lifts them up into the air because obviously he has Magneto and his magnesis powers, and he can lift metal objects into the air. Similar idea with this awakening, but instead of lifting objects into the air that have gunpowder in them, this user just turns off the gun. Like, they either pull the gunpowder from the weapons, or they just stop the ignition somehow. I'm not sure how that would work. I'd imagine they'd probably have to pull out the gunpowder to do so. But that's one idea. The other idea is that they can just straight up blow up gunpowder barrels from anywhere. And, you know, perhaps it was a little too early to call this a firework fruit when their awakening controls gunpowder. However, I didn't want to make a gunpowder Logia, because I think if you just even if you are a Logia, or even just a Paramecia that controls gunpowder, if you get shot, I mean, it's gonna explode, right? I'd imagine that's how it would work. If you got shot as a gunpowder Paramecia or Logia, you would probably explode. I mean, as long as you haven't activated your abilities, you might be fine, but, you know, either way, it's a very interesting power. This firework power is a very interesting power. So, with that is everything for the firework fruit. It's a very short fruit. I didn't have much to go off of with this firework thing. I tried to look up some like anatomy of the firework to see if I could pull anything else, but it's, you know, firework is pretty much just, well, if you've ever played Minecraft, it's literally just paper, gunpowder, and an ignition. So that's that's pretty much what a firework is. It's like it's basically just an explosive candle, essentially. But yeah, that's everything for this week's Devil Fruit. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all enjoyed the drawing. The character with this Devil Fruit is actually tied to my character, which I showed off in my Yamato's a Trans perspective, and I actually showed her off in the last video, so please go check out those two videos if you haven't seen them already. With that, I want to thank you all for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you would use this fruit, or do you think it's bad? I think it's actually really kind of cool. It'd be a very visually stunning fruit to have. Whether or not be powerful, that's besides the point. I think it'd be very cool just to see the powers animated, or, you know, I think this particular fruit would actually translate to live action pretty well, if it was ever put into One Piece. If it was ever put into One Piece. So, yeah. Anyways, oh, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter at CrypticHell, Cryptic_HEL. Cryptic Hell to see all my videos artwork. And with that, thank you all for watching, and have a good day.